I've had a good, let's say, background in understanding how the different B2B, B2C industries work. Obviously got a bit of background now thanks to GoDaddy in tech solutions, and I'm also doing a doctorate. So this is me in a nutshell, and I hope that gives you a perspective on now what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to introduce GoDaddy a little bit, who we are, what we do, and I think we've been talking a lot about this big idea of data centers, of cybersecurity, and I'm going to take us back to the really nascent level. As GoDaddy, we are supporting everyday entrepreneurs. That is a solopreneur, that is a small business. So let's dig into it a little bit more. Our vision as GoDaddy globally is to radically shift the global economy towards independent entrepreneurial ventures. What do we mean by independent entrepreneurial venture? This can be, as I said before, a solopreneur. This can be a family business that is being handed from father to son. And it's about how do we make this online world that we are all active in, and how do we make it more inclusive, more accessible to everyone across the globe. And so this is the idea of empowering entrepreneurs everywhere and making this opportunity, because at the end of the day, it is an opportunity. I think COVID is probably the best example, the best real-life example that we all live through of how it has to be an opportunity and how we as an industry have to enable it to be one for everyone. So who is GoDaddy? We were founded in 1997. We have 21 million customers globally. This means that we have an immense amount of information and learning opportunity to understand how these entrepreneurs function, what are the challenges that they face, what are the solutions that we need to develop to be able to meet their needs. And these are actually quite common across all the different markets that we see. 90% of these customers have a domain name. Now, why is that significant? Because when we look at this convergence of online and offline, we see that in the physical world, you have your physical space, you have a shop front. But online, you need to get your address. And it might not be, you might not want to build a house on top of it, you might not want to put a shop on top of it right away. But that means you have secured your piece of real estate online. And later on today, I'll be in a second session, I'll be talking about a few entrepreneurial data points that we've done through a survey. But one thing I have observed that's over the years is a lot of people, they have an idea and they don't secure their domain name, and then they lose that ability to protect their brand. Or somebody else registers a name, and especially if you're a physical or an offline business, what happens if somebody else registers your brand in the online space? What happens when this consumer landscape is moving so quickly that people start searching for you online before you are even online? This is the message that we're talking about with everyday entrepreneurs. This is the level of awareness we're trying to build right at the beginning of that journey. 35% have a hosting or presence solution, and this brings me to that point of you don't necessarily have to build something right now, but you have to make sure that you secure your name in your space online. And 25% have a business application solution. I think there's great growth potential in this idea of online business solutions. Why? Because we're talking about cloud storage, we're talking about email communications, we're talking about productivity. So I refer to Microsoft 365. Again, referring to the pandemic, this era of remote working. It shifted the way we understand how to work, and it also provided a lot more opportunity for people that were working from home. People that decided to start a side hustle out of their basically backyard or out of their home office. This is part of that enablement, and it allows you to tap into skills anywhere, agnostic of where your geolocation is. We, as an organisation, we have 55 global sites that we manage globally, but it serves a lot more markets than that, because again, we are an e-commerce business. And I think the important thing is customer tenure. What we want to do as GoDaddy is we really try to grow with our customers. We want to be a partner for our customers as they start the digital journey, as they take the plunge online, and then they grow using our tools and solutions. So the idea is you can start small. You might start, if you're starting off on a journey as an entrepreneur, you might start as one person. And then what you do is you evolve. So we say, hey, start year one, get your domain name. When your business is at the point, starts to reach a point where you can then start to build your online store or online presence, then add some more, then add another solution. And this evolution is how we see business growth that integrates digital into it. It's fundamentally part of that business growth journey. And the way, when we look at company facing here is what we call the entrepreneur's wheel. And this pivots around three core concepts. We've got the digital identity, ubiquitous presence, and connected commerce. And this is becoming more and more prominent as we see that convergence of online and offline. So, digital identity, it's no longer just a single website, it's no longer just a single entity. This is what we were talking about maybe 15 years ago. This is talking about how these are all integrated. So we talked about a domain name. What about a logo? Because you need to be able to recognize your brand online. You need to have a holistic brand presence that goes from social media, and you can carry that to your other platforms, whether they're owned or whether they're third-party platforms. Link in bio. What is a link in bio? How are people utilizing the ability to communicate? So we see on social media, again, it's a good example where we see a link in bio and people can click through, customers can click through and access information, and the company, whether they're a small business or an entrepreneur, they can pick the pieces of information that they want to share with their audience. That's very, very powerful because it allows you to go one step further in engaging with your audience and sending the right message to the right person. Then you can grow, looking at website, looking at hosting and security. How do you slowly integrate these? And then this idea of the commerce side. So you might be selling physically, and then you want to go online and sell. This is something we saw a lot during the pandemic and after the pandemic. Obviously, consumer behaviour changed. But here it's about understanding where are the opportunities to sell, and how do you take that online and offline. So we're also looking at online store and the physical store, offline points of sales and online sales mechanisms. Payments is part of that, and then you've got marketplaces and social media, because if you're a business that's starting out, you might start to be getting orders from your website or via social media. And then what's the next step? Then you start integrating payments, and you start putting your stock online. And these are very, very basic steps. Again, I understand that we're talking at a different level here within this audience, but from our perspective, this is the upcoming, let's say, influx of people that are going to come online, the businesses that are going to come online, and it's important that we build this awareness all together. So when it comes to our products, how do we kind of see this? And it relates back to the entrepreneurial wheel. But this idea of naming your idea. What is that? We offer domain names, over 500. For you to choose. I mean, .com is the global norm, but there are other opportunities, maybe .store, .club, depending on what industry the customer is active in. Domain appraisal tool. This allows you to see the value of your domain name. I've got my own domain name, for example, SelinaBiba.com, and I think the value has increased since I first registered it, but for me the bigger value is at least I've secured it, and now I finally built a website for myself. That's another example of how we protect our online brand presence as individuals, as businesses. And this is really speaking to the fact that we are the world's largest domain name registrar, so we have over 82 million domains within our management. You look at then building your online presence, so we've got two tools, the Arabic Website Builder and what we call Websites and Marketing, and they're basically do-it-yourself tools. These are very much for a small business audience. And then you can build on top of them. So they're fully integrated. They integrate with social media channels, they integrate with digital marketing, and then obviously we have Managed WordPress, which is a more sophisticated solution, but can be a little bit more technical for that average entrepreneur. And then we go into this idea of grow. As you start to get up and running, how do you facilitate growth? So we go back to that idea of opportunity. How do we leverage this opportunity that digital platforms offer? And here, we look at things like content creation. We've got GoDaddy Studio, which is a content creation tool that allows you to publish directly to your website or social media sites. And that's where you can create a really strong brand presence. That's where you have templates. That's where you bridge the gap between not having any knowledge, but offering a small business or an entrepreneur starting out the ability to create a really beautiful website with content that matches. So that idea of uniformity, that idea of, hey, I now have something that I own that speaks to me, especially if they're coming from a physical presence where they have something they want to carry online, they can create it within one single small app and publish it online easily, basically in one click. And then you have all the integration. So we talked about it being mobile friendly. I am still surprised that I see websites and online presence that are not mobile optimized. This affects search ranking. This affects the usability on mobile devices, and it's going to result in drop-off when it comes to conversions. So making sure that we bridge the gap. How do we make it easier to get from A to B for any of these entrepreneurs? It's about making sure that these tools are integrated together and it's kind of an off-the-shelf solution for our customers. The marketing suite, which is again an integrated set of tools, which is SEO and email, and then the productivity, which I spoke to before. And then we go to the next phase of selling online. So we've got the e-store, which allows you to sell on social. It's got different categories. You can sell e-goods, you can have gated content. And then obviously everybody I'm sure knows WooCommerce, which is the same. You've got SEO integration, you've got appointment scheduling and the backup, and all of these include backup and SSL. But both approaches look at this growth journey. So when we look at how we support and partner with our customers throughout that growth journey, it's about creating a product suite that allows and facilitates that as they enhance their skill set, grow their team, and then ultimately at the end game is to allow them to be at a point where they're confident enough to integrate that fully into their business existence. A little bit about the activities that we've done in Egypt. So obviously we're a global brand, we do a lot internationally, and our strength is scalability, definitely when it comes to products. But specifically in Egypt, I think there's a very strong appetite for digital literacy, upskilling and learning, and then utilising that opportunity for everyone. So we partner with Startups Without Borders. We train 500 small businesses and entrepreneurs in the region, specifically around what is an online presence? How do I create my online presence? How do I leverage this for my business? We integrated Fari into our e-store as a payment solution, which is, I think, a big moment for the Egyptian market because it's such a large player in the local ecosystem. And then we also, when it comes to that idea of talent, this is more on the internal side, but when it comes to that idea of talent, we partnered with GIS to support their Pro Girls program. This was where we took in 3 local high school girls and had them join us via a virtual internship over summer and expose them to different aspects of what does it mean to work in a tech company. And this is probably, personally on a personal note, this is probably the most rewarding aspect of doing business in this market, because you see how that realization and how it pivots. It's so crucial for us as players in this ecosystem to expose the younger generation to what it means, how a career in tech manifests in real life, giving us a look behind the scenes. And I truly hope that those 3 girls are now for all of our companies in the future. And just lastly, to finish off, I want to showcase 2 of our customers that are Egyptian customers that have an online presence with us. Again, it's their entrepreneur, it's a solopreneur, but seeing where they can go, especially the first example, I think is important to looking at that growth journey. So Ayesha, she's a designer, she has her own designs, and she was selling through Instagram. She was just gaining a little bit of brand presence and awareness through her Instagram page, social media, and then she decided to build an online store with us. And so now she not only has a categorical view of basically presenting her products to her potential audience, she has a way to integrate her digital marketing, and she actually sells online now. So that's kind of that end-to-end where she can reach in terms of where she started from and where she's going to. And there's a lot more growth potential for Aya specifically because she's doing design, because she can grow her digital marketing. So that's one. And then we have Abdurrahman, and he's a personal trainer. He's got 10 years of experience, and he's very much, he's got his own network. And I encourage you to visit his website if you have time, because I love his website. I think it's, when we talk about a personal brand, it's his business, but it's also him as a personality. And that idea of this is who I stand for, this is what I do. He's created now a community online with his anchor, his central point of his online presence as his website, where he creates a network. But the beauty is he says, for example, sign up, join the movement. So he's talking directly to his audience that he acquires through his social media networks, drives them to his website and physically shows, come on this journey with me. And so that was the aim of his online presence on his website. And now he's continuing to add more and more content to it. So it's 2 very different use case scenarios, but ultimately, this is our customer, and this is who we have to enable and show and build that awareness. So we really foster that way of digitalisation and transformation on into the future. Thank you. That's all from me today.